Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's round two of our Legacy Fight Night here for the Magic the Gathering Paper Legacy Discord. Chaotic Bear here, back with Dr. Leo. Quick round one, huh?
Oh yeah, that was super fast. I was very surprised with the Nighthawk Scavenger. That card just absolutely could not be answered, and is just so good. It's such a fast clock.
Yeah.
I gotta try it. Like I gotta
Everyone
pick up some
watching,
copies.
everyone watching the stream, you better go get yours now before we both log off and go get them on TCG Player.
We're gonna go spike them all right now. I bet.
Yeah. Uh, so this
But
matchup, we've got Esper Control versus Four Color Loam. I think we probably both know who I'm secretly rooting for, but I can't say it out loud because I'm a mod.
well, gee, I wonder. The guy who's known for playing four color loam, the four color decks, the all the wild four color piles, versus the guy who's been personally messing around with an Esper deck with his jank pile. So I think we know who we're rooting for, but you know what? We have to stay indifferent, but at the same time, this is going to be a great matchup. So I love both of these decks. So Mascarpone is on a four color loam, obviously.
Mhm.
This deck is pretty much like what we've seen is the stock standard. So we got, of course, two life from the loams, some green sun zeniths tied together. Importantly, here we have three Oko and one Kaya Orzhov Usurper. And you were talking about this deck earlier, this card earlier, and I
Yeah.
have to agree. I think this card is great.
Yeah, I've been playing with it a little bit. Probably I've had it in my deck for maybe the last 4 to 6 weeks, and it's good when it's good, and then sometimes it doesn't address anything your opponent's doing, so it gets sided out a lot. But
Well,
we'll see.
honestly, what I've learned in this meta is honestly incidental graveyard hate is never a bad thing. As we've
Mhm.
seen with the rise of Cling to Dust as just a honestly a main board cantrip most of the time, incidental graveyard hate is amazing. Just having that like, oh, in game 1 I can steal I can exile your reanimate target, or in game 1 I can kill your Uro, I can get rid of your what's called your Clothish triggers, your Croxa, anything like that. That's just like even these escape cards like Cling to Dust, they
Mhm.
lose so much value when they get exiled in the yard for a plus on a Planeswalker.
Yeah. The second ability, exiling something CMC one or less, is very relevant in some matchups and doesn't do anything in other matchups. So,
I agree,
uh,
and I think this is
but
one of those matchups where it's not going to do anything.
yeah, but
So,
honestly, that ult on there is pretty easy to get to, and it's definitely taken. I've definitely won a few games off of that. Just
well,
casual +1 on an empty board for a while, and then get them.
Well, honestly, what it does is it doesn't say all the cards that were exiled by Kaya.
Right.
It specifically
Yeah.
says all the cards that were exiled that are in the opponent's exile zone. So
Yeah.
this includes things like Swords of Plowshares. It includes things like cards you exile to Uro for an escape.
Yeah.
So honestly, that -5 is I'm gonna kill you with this.
Yeah. Like I've definitely have gotten like -10 on it before because it only takes I think 3 tick ups if you want to leave it around afterwards or two. Yeah,
hmm
you just have to take it up twice and then you can bomb on the third turn. So
Yeah, and Prez, I agree
but,
with you completely. I bought my foil copies of Cling to Dust early because I saw that card is busted, and I love it. But importantly here with Nizkoman, we have a pretty off the wall Esper control list. So I love Esper control. So this is a straight up, I'm gonna force will your stuff. I'm gonna answer your stuff for one. But also it's a Monastery Mentor deck. That's their finisher, and I love Monastery Mentor. I think it's good. It used to be way better in Legacy before it can be elked. But
mhm.
honestly, in this deck, I kind of love it. And importantly, here we also have another Kaya Orzhov Usurper.
Yep. You know what this deck reminds me of is an Esper version of Grixis Control is what it looks like to me.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
That, yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. Instead of four bolts, you have the four swords of plowshares. We
Mhm.
have two drown in the lock, which I personally love that card. I think it's so good.
Yeah, you get that instead of K command. I mean, K command a little bit more versatile, but you have a split of Drown Lock and Liliana's Triumph there, and then you have just some higher end walkers. But instead of like Last Hope, people don't play Last Hope a whole lot anymore. But you've got Big to Fairy there,
hmm
so
And honestly,
Monastery
big
Mentor just wins out of nowhere though.
yeah, mentor just puts up such a fast clock, and I've been having a lot of fun playing with it. I've never had to play with the chance with Mentor. I was on a hiatus during Khan's era, so it's one of those things that it's really fun to see this type of decks that are playing Mentor and really leveraging it. And importantly, here for Mascarpone, we have a fast Mox Diamond start into a Baleful Strix. You don't see that often with 4-color Loam. It's a one of in
Yeah,
the deck.
yeah. A lot of the lists are running between 0 and 2 Baleful Strix in the blue versions. I think I've spoke to Mascarpone, and they're running because they were in my league this season. I was playing Delver for that game. Thankfully, it wasn't a lone mirror because I have to sleep sometime. But no, they said they wanted extra Green Sun Zenith, and so have it shaved to Strix and added a Green Sun Zenith. So I love Green Sun
And
Zenith as well. That's it
oh
if I
yeah,
were to
I'm
pick.
right there with you. And importantly here, Green Sun Zenith does find some interesting one of targets, including Leovold Emissary of Trust, and you know how much I love
Yes,
Leovold.
I do know what you love, Leovold. I think your username is betraying you there.
My icon, yeah.
Yeah,
Leovold and I have a long, wonderful relationship that is one of those things that I love to death, and unfortunately, he's just not the best in Legacy anymore.
yeah.
So I've even shaved down to one of. I used to run him as a 2 of, but now I'm down to one. And importantly
And
here,
another old spicy card there, Hymn to Torak. Card we
yeah,
used to see a lot more in Legacy.
and unfortunate on when it comes to that. Honestly, because I love him to Turok. I think this is one of the cards that I would consider a staple of Legacy. But unfortunately, taking your turn off on turn 2 to get Veil of Summer just feels really bad.
Yep. Hit a Knight of the Reliquary there, and we're gonna hit a beautiful altar abrupt decay.
Ooh. Oh, wow. That is a beautiful Altered
Hmm.
Abrupt Decay. You
Uh,
have my
my,
attention, good sir.
yeah, Mascarpone actually, I believe, alters them themselves and posts some in chat. That there's been an abrupt decay in our altars recently from them.
I want one. I
Yeah,
I want
I bet you
my
could buy. I bet you could buy one.
I will hit them up after this because those look beautiful. And here is the engine. We have a Dark Confidant.
Yep, Dark Confidant, just one of the absolute workhorses of Loam there.
So,
Um,
in your opinion, then, since you are the Loam expert, which is more important
absolutely.
engine piece, Light from the Loam or Dark Confidant?
It depends on early game versus mid to late game. Turn one Dark Confidant wins almost any game where they can't remove it or just kill you and ignore it. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's a very good card. Life and Loam just isn't like turn one. If you land Mox Diamond pitch, cast Life and Loam on whatever you pitched, like yeah, you're setting up, but you didn't actually like. You're not. There's no velocity there really. Um, whereas Dark Confidant finding cards for you return just is great.
Okay. And importantly here, Niskelman is on, let's see how many basics. A single island and a single swamp. So it is entirely possible that Niskelman can be wastelanded out of the game. And we do see that island here.
Drown
And
Block.
okay, we're
Yep.
seeing the fight over it. And importantly, the Drown Lock was easily converted because the CMC of 2 to 3 cards in the graveyard.
Yep. Drown Block is sometimes an awkward card,
Oh,
but
I
gonna
played a
be
match against DNT when I had Drown on the Lock and Cling to Dust in my hand, and there was a rest in peace on the field, and I
yeah.
felt so bad.
Backup Bob here. You got another one of those?
Oh, let's see. Does he have an answer? Looks like no. It looks like it resolved.
Tap it. Yeah. Tap a mana for something though here.
Tap in mana for something. Let's
Okay.
see.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, it did resolve and then pass, and now we're seeing Baleful Strix here.
Oh, the old mirror match.
I love. So I know there's the sneaky snow snake, and the sneaky snow
Yeah.
snake is phenomenal, and it's great.
Ooh, back
There's
at
something
him.
that's nice about the old school Strix, and wow, we see that him to Turok taking out
Mox
another Mox
Diamond,
Diamond and
Green Sun
a
Zenith.
Green Sun Zenith, and that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. Essentially, I mean, Green Sun Zenith finds any card you want, and then just you get to do it again later. It doesn't go back once you discard it though.
No, unfortunately, like I, and especially on only a 2 Green Sun Zenith deck, like that feels bad.
Yeah. So
And
just forcing the trade here, and then Chalice and one to follow up.
uh,
Just a great card
And
to have against these blue/X/X decks.
yeah, so this Chalice the Void shuts off the 4 Swords of Plowshares. It shuts off 4 Brainstorms, 4 Ponders, and that's looking right about it. But importantly here, we were talking about it. This is a target for Kaya Orzhov Usurper. This is like one of the main targets.
Yeah, I mean it also shuts off Inquisition Kozilek as well. But
IK, yeah.
yeah, there are I mean, it looks like Niskelman doesn't have a board. Probably only has a couple cards in hand because they've been deploying some stuff there off and on. But Chalice of the Void, for the mid game for these sort of decks, like where they need to top deck and they can't cast Ponders or Brainstorms to help them top deck, just is not great for them. But Jace will help you. Will help you top deck.
Chase really help you top deck.
Yeah,
And bouncing that tempo play of putting the Dark Confident back, you're only restricted to 1 card a turn. I like that, especially since Mascarpone hasn't hit a single. Okay, here we go. We hit in the land drops. And importantly here, with that him to Trok taking out the Green Sun Zenith, that was one of the other ways for Mascarpone to find one of the best cards in the matchup, being Leovold.
yeah.
And we're seeing fetch
That-
here
that-
for Mascarpone.
Ooh, what do you think the other card in hand is?
Oh, I don't know.
He's got beautiful unhinged land.
Beautiful.
Tap is this Green Sun's? Oh no, never mind. He's just tapping the
No.
mana first.
Life
Life
from
from
the
Loam. All right.
Loam. Okay. We
So
have
nothing
the
super
engine
juicy in
going.
there. We got a couple fetches. We got a Mazavith in there. I believe are the only targets.
Yep.
Yeah. Mazavith versus Jace feels pretty bad, but Verdant Catacombs I'd be willing to redeploy.
Oh yeah. Interestingly here though, when it comes to this specific matchup, when it comes to force effects, Niskelman is only running 3 Force of Will and 2 Force of Negation though. And those Force of Negations can very easily be converted here because it does exile the spell when it counters it.
Yeah, that's some incidental hate that I know lands doesn't like Force of Negation existing either.
Yeah. Oh,
It's just
Ant hates it as well, my friend.
yeah. It's just a free upgrade for basically no cost in a lot of these decks. Occasionally you end up screwing yourself because you have a Force of Negation and it's your turn. You're trying to protect something you're playing, but I mean, it just gets them more than it doesn't.
Yeah. And honestly, exiling the Life from the Loan just feels so bad in this matchup. That's your engine piece. It's a, huge selection engine, and as well, it gets you back your Wastelands, which is so good in this matchup.
Yeah. So Niskelman choosing to brainstorm there with the Jace rather than blow up the Dark Confidant, I guess we have to assume that he has some removal for it, because otherwise you're just about to trade it there.
Well, to be fair, I mean, you have a lot of different answers to it. Not only can you produce blockers in the form of 3 other Baleful Strix in the decks,
Mhm.
you have Snapcaster Mage to rebuy anything else that you might be missing, but also things like what's it called, Drown the Lock and Liliana's Triumph can be converted here. And as we see, we have a Monastery Mentor.
Yep. Is that the judge art? I don't know the art
That
for that.
is the promo art.
Okay.
That is the promo judge printing art that was slightly too expensive for me to buy all out when I was buying my Monastery Mentors. So I did not end up buying that one, which I kind of regret because it looks really good on camera now.
Yeah. I think if this is the person I'm thinking of, they were talking earlier about their mismatched set of mentors. I'll have to double check that, but
So I don't feel as bad. But importantly here, this is a mentor on a board that cannot easily answer it because we got how many? 4 Abrupt Decay to answer it. I mean, one of them is in the bin, so we got 3 Abrupt Decay to answer it. And you have to answer Monster Mentor fast because you talk about a snowballing card, and yep, here it is. The snowball card it is.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
Does
that Rune Galera is going to be great. I bet we see a token in response. Just
Oh
fire off
yeah.
any spell, even into Chalice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the important gesture towards the chalice. Like, no, this isn't happening.
Yep.
And we have the 1/1 prowessing monk hit in the field.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. It was actually a different user today that was talking about they just now there are 4 different arts of Monastery Mentor are 4 different printings of Monastery Mentor, and they have 1 of each.
Oh, no way.
Tickles
That's
me.
actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to mix and match, if I'm going to mix and match, I want it to be either everything matches or everything is completely different. That tickles me.
I completely understand because for me, I like him having them all matching. That's just me
Yeah,
personally.
that's my
I
preference.
I try as hard as I can to get matching. In fact, when I was building my latest deck, I sat in my local game shop with my mask on. Importantly, everybody wear a mask. And I was just flipping through trying to find matching lands because I could not field the deck without matching lands.
Yeah. I think that is a difference in our personality because I'll definitely just go on TCG Player and buy basics for an EDH deck.
He the doctor. Yes, exactly. Make sure people. Masks are amazing. They've helped save. I have a lot of lives. Listen to the experts. That's my only rant that I get on masks. You got your rant for The Walking Dead. That's the only rant I get for that. Make my job easier. That's all I ask. Make my job easier. I
Yeah,
challenge you.
I don't want to dox you or tell everyone what you do for a living, but definitely have some expertise there.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh man, we're seeing a fetch edge with another flood edge strand, but importantly, after the brainstorm. But
Well,
I really think Niskelman needs to start prowessing up this monk as fast as possible and get a clock because you do not want to play the late game against lands. Well, 4-color Loam, it will win every single time.
yeah, there's some truth to that, and there's also, I mean, I think that both of these decks have plenty of inevitability here because Jace with 0 pressure on the board right now can just take over a game. But you're right. I mean, if Mascarpone can start finding some of the cycling lands, drawing 3-4 cards a turn, um, there's not quite enough mana out to just really take advantage of all these cards that he's drawing. But ooh,
Ooh.
well,
And
they've got.
are both of those Life from the Loams in the graveyard?
I only saw the one left. I think the other one is a Green Sun Zenith.
Okay. And here we go, seeing the Chows go bye-bye.
Yep, and Swords Your Bob. Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean the card selection with when you can brainstorm with Jace and fetch basically every turn. Like you get whatever you want in your deck in your hand, and I think we're seeing that from here.
Yeah, exactly. And importantly here, this monk just got prowessed up twice because it counts every non creature spell cast.
Yep.
So that's 3 damage coming in, and now we officially have a game here. This is a clock. This is control. Like this is gonna
Yeah.
be interesting to see.
That monk could be just literally a Mon's Goblin Raiders right now, though. If you have Kaya and Jace out, I mean, it'll get there when it gets there.
Yeah. Oh, Maze of Ith.
All right, so I should have said Prodigal Sorcerer then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Importantly though, this is not a wasteland deck. So that Maze of Ith is here to stay.
Yep. I mean, I imagine in Nizkoman's deck, only 9 creatures, and we've already seen 2 of them. But I imagine there'll be some way to get around the Maze of Ith at some point.
Oh, and Monster Mentor by itself does an amazing job getting around the Maze of Ith, just going so wide so fast.
Yeah, we've already seen one though, and there's only 2. There's only 2 in the deck, but again, like I said, with Jace unpressured, if you wait, you just see whatever card you want anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a demonic tutor that doesn't work every time.
And I agree with that. And seeing the fact that Jace has lost so much of that grandiose power that it once had. And I mean, it's unfortunately been in like a time that Jace just doesn't do the job as much as it used to anymore. And
Yeah,
oof, we're gonna see
I just don't
Kaya
like that one.
exiling both of the life from the Loams.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
ooh. Hey, Weed. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
Press pointing out the lack of Vindicate in this deck here. I agree. Vindicate is a beautiful card.
You have been the biggest proponent for Vindicate for the longest time. And
It's funny because it almost never ends up in my 75s, but man, that foil is pretty.
yeah, don't get me wrong.
Mascarpone is also a fan of that foil. I think we talked about it during our league match.
Hey, Plus,
Well,
Argon, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. You
yeah,
know, oh, everybody, thank you for coming out. We really appreciate it. Honestly, you all are the reason why we still keep on doing this. We love doing this. We have a great time. And honestly, it's great to see that so many of you are having a good time hanging out with us, just having some good old fashioned paper legacy. Who
yeah.
needs that fancy online stuff, anyways?
So we actually missed. I think we just sort of assumed that Niskoman was going to take out both Life and Loams, but he actually took a Life and Loam and a Dark Confidant, presumably for the life gain. And we see Force Negation here to exile the Life and Loam anyway. So just
Oof.
it's all free. Had all these.
Oh, oh. So that's both Life from the Loams are gone.
Yeah. Um, and Mask of Honey here now has all the mana to take advantage of this, but with the Life and Loams, it is going to be hard to get that engine going again. Finding Dark Confidant here off the top would help, but Niskoman just has so many ways to eat it.
Yeah, and I agree. And even something like Uro doesn't even do the job because of the fact that, well, he in that sense he can play Uro for 3 and then bring it back immediately. But
Mm.
then the problem is, then all those 5 cards that you exile is now a clock that's against you because of Kaya.
Yeah, that's a very gross interaction. You pointed out there. Um,
Yeah,
Oko could help a little bit just to stall the board until you can make some 3/3s. But I mean, Kaya just eats the 3/3s, and you're definitely. I mean, I think this is just going to end with a Kaya ultimate, honestly.
yeah. Uh, so it's wild because when Kaya was first spoiled, I remember some people talking about it, but they were all just saying, what black white deck is there? The only black white deck at the time was, what's my call it, Dead Guy Ale, and nobody plays Dead Guy Ale. No offense to anybody that does play Dead Guy Ale. Like Lingering
Please
Souls
don't
is a
leave the
great
stream.
card, but people were only thinking, this is only be going to be a card that is just going to be seen in there because it's only black white deck, and we've seen Maverick actually shift into an Abzan and build just to play Kaya because it's just so good.
Yeah, I mean, I know Black was common in a lot of those decks anyway for Abrupt Decay and
Mhm.
maybe a couple other cards, but yeah, it's I'm not as excited about it as I was about Rin and Six. Give me Rin and Six back, and you can have Kaya. But until then, I'll play her.
No, don't bring back that deck. Oh man, that was a hard day, a hard time to be playing Nick Fit. Back before you had sneaky. Oh wait, no, we did have the sneaky snow snake at the same time, but like it was one of those things that all of my baleful strix died, everything died, everything just it was just the card was just too good. I got wastelanded out of the game playing Nick Fit.
It
Like
sounds like you should have been playing more basics, man.
oh, like I got very unlucky in that game. I
All
didn't
right,
see a single veteran explorer. Ooh,
Fate
throw that
Sealing
to the
here.
bottom.
Niskoman if might just have an answer to it.
That's true.
Honestly, I mean, we're in hardcast force territory. Yeah, puts it on bottom there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Argon.
Well,
I
of
w-
course you love it, Argon. You played Jund.
yeah, if you didn't allow any blue mana symbol to coexist in a Ren and Six deck, I think it would be fine. It
No
would be like
Delvern, Ren and Six.
yeah, it would just be like an EDH deck. Its color identity is whichever one of those doesn't have blue in it.
So if that means that they get Ren and Six, does it mean that Death and Taxes gets a Luris, but just only in the main board?
Yeah, yeah, I would love that. I don't even play Death and Taxes, but I think that it would be a very neat tool to see how it was built to handle that.
Shout out to the Geekery, my local game store. I did a feature on their YouTube channel. You can go check it out, Geekery Games on YouTube. And we played a theoretical game as if Luris would not banned in Legacy, as if they just got rid of the companion zone, and it was still a nightmare. It murdered me, and I was on Bug Zenith, and I just got crushed by that card.
Yeah,
Uh,
Death and Taxes would be a great place for that card
I
for
would
sure.
be actually terrified to see Death and Taxes if they could have access to 2 or 3 Lurises in the main. I think they would be willing to cut things like what's
Flicker Wisp,
uh
Iron
the
Crusader.
Flicker Wisp or Mirren Crusader or even Palace Jailer, just
Yeah.
because that card is such a good just card
Oh,
advantage engine.
Flicker Wisp is only 3. Never mind. But yeah, I know we were going with that. We
Yeah,
see
exactly.
we see a second creature here for Niskelman, so finally can get in. I was gonna say finally can get in around that Maze of Us, but now we have a Dryad Arbor. We got a
Yeah.
blocker.
You know what? I love fetching for that surprise Dryad Arbor.
And backup Bob. This is at least Bob 3. This might be Bob 4.
I think it is actually Bob 4
Okay.
because we
I know it's at
saw.
least 3.
Yeah, let me pull up the table spot. Our wonderful new mod Micdiff is doing the table spotting today. So shout out to Mick, really appreciate it. Thanks for all the help, buddy. Yeah, so we got. Yeah, I think this Kaya is almost lethal because that's a lot
That
of cards in exile. It's
yeah.
13 cards in exile, and
Yeah. And I mean with the you can Jace bounce the Dryad Arbor and swing in for that extra point there, I guess.
yep. And it
Probably
looks
just
like
gonna see a scoop, yeah. I think that game
yeah.
was over 6 turns ago, 8 turns ago, but it just took a while to actually to actually be lethal.
Well, I think it's more because of the fact that Kaya it's a slow clock, but it's a
Mhm.
definitive clock. And
Yeah.
honestly, seeing the card, I think I might want to pick up Kaya's again. I don't think they're too expensive, and honestly, it's looking pretty good.
Now you can get the Mythic Edition ones for like $20, I think. That's about how
Oh,
much I
that's not
paid
too
for mine.
bad. That's
Yeah.
not too bad. All right,
Or
so
regular printings for whatever they cost. I don't know.
okay, so we're going into sideboarding, and Mark's Capone's gonna be on the play. So we
Mhm.
got two Swords of Plowshares, one Containment Priest, one Golgari Charm, one Meddling Mage, two Thalia Guardian of Thraben, one Knight of Autumn, one Leovold Emissary Trust, two Plague Engineers, one Toxic Deluge, and three Leyline in the Void. What do you like? You are the four-color Loam Master. Tell me what you would bring in.
I've been off blue for a little while, but I feel like I definitely want the backup Leovold. Um, Knight of Autumn is cute as just a way to blow up like Rest in Peace or some other Graveyard Hate. Graveyard Hate doesn't always kill you, but it's annoying. So having access to that with Green Sun Zenith is great. Meddling Mage just sort of hits whatever you're afraid of. I don't think I think Golgari Charm is in here to blow up things like Leyline of the Void and Rest in Peace and stuff like that. But basically all of Niskelman's creatures except for the Monastery Mentor X ones. So that's
I
just
I
that's
totally
cute.
forgot that Golgari Charm was even a card, and honestly, looking through this card, man, this card is so good.
Yeah,
Like
it does
being able
everything.
to being able to regenerate your creatures through a board wipe that doesn't say they can't be regenerated is amazing. Uh,
Mhm.
nuking the board from -1/-1 is pretty great, and also being able to hit enchantment, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
depending on what Master Printer takes out, I'm also tempted with the Plague Engineers on Monk because that's definitely a way that you can lose this game. And just having more creatures in the deck isn't a bad thing against all this removal.
I
Uh,
was just about to bring that up. I think two plague engineers are a must simply because you need one on human because that cuts off Snapcaster Mage and Monastery Mentor, and you need a second one on bird. So I would bring in just the two. I think that Plague Engineer. I think I wrote about it probably now about like about a month ago. I honestly think Plague Engineer is just like a must two of in your deck in your 75 at least.
yeah,
So if you're playing on the Discord, you have to be prepared for matches like goblins and elves, and you got to get around it.
yeah. I'm on 2 main deck in Loam right now, but that's because I've been disappointed with Delicate Exploration and I haven't found anything else to do. So
Yeah. Oh,
it's not bad. I don't mind having it, but
so you didn't like Valakut Exploration? I figured you'd be all about that card.
it's fun when it works. Costing 3 is awkward, and yeah, it's in my sideboard still. If I want to bring it in against a grindier deck, but I also decked myself against someone with it. I got out 2 Valakut Explorations, and I just drew so many cards. But it was a control deck, and they just stopped everything that mattered. Uh,
That's
I
hilarious.
straight decked myself.
And Prez, thank you for letting us know. Yeah, actually, you need to put it on Monk in order to
Yeah.
kill the tokens. Thank you for catching me on that. I completely
Yeah,
forgot that it only produces monk tokens, not human monk tokens.
yeah.
And for Nizkelman, we got one engineered explosives, two fluster storms, one hydroblast, one path to exile, one surgical extraction, one thought seize, one disenchant, one rest in peace, one stony silence, one ashiok dream render, two council judgment, one ghostly prison, and one Gurmag angler. This is a lot of one ofs.
Yeah, you got to breathe now, man.
Like what?
One buttsies.
Yeah.
Um, that's true. We haven't even talked about the mana base of this deck. We'll have to get to that.
I was just about to bring it up.
Yeah,
I That was gonna be
if-
my tangent in between games because this mana base is wild.
yeah. I mean, Surgical Rest in Peace and Ashiok are all easy bring-ins. You already have plenty of removal. Honestly, Council Judgment might be a little bit extra.
Yeah.
Engineered Explosives on 2 is actually pretty good against 4-color Loam. It eats Sylvan Library, Scavenging Ooze, Baleful Strix in this deck, Bob. Um, so you have plenty of spot removal already, but I'd be tempted to bring in one EE just because it eats whatever.
Yeah, I agree with
Um,
that. And you can cut down on things like Force of Wills and Drown in the Locks if you're bringing in Rest in Peace. So like there's enough things that you can cut that you'll have
yeah.
room for those extra one of fun ofs.
Oh, and
And
Stony Silence. I forgot Stony Silence because Stony Silence eats Mox Diamond, which is annoying.
Stony Silence does in fact eat Mox Diamond. It's a really good card against there. So let's talk about this mana base here. Because
Tell me about
I love this mana base. I mean, I don't know if I love it, but it is wild. So we got 21 lands in this Esper control list. Now, mind you, this is Esper control, and as we saw, it was
it.
very color intensive. We got one ancient tomb, one castle locked Wayne, one city of traders, four flooded strands, one island, one marsh flats, four Pluto deltas, two scrublands, one swamp, two tundras, and three underground seas. What are you trying to power out on turn one with an ancient tomb or city or traders? Like,
It's
wow.
it's a turn 2 payoff, man. You can play Mentor. You can play Mentor or Jace or Teferi ahead of curve. I agree. I would love to ask Niskelman what that is. I'm sure it's in there for a reason.
Oh yeah, it's got to be in there for a reason. Like honestly, so honestly, when I see this sideboard, you know what I immediately go to?
What are you
Spellseeker.
excited about? Oh.
I would love to see Spellseeker in this deck. I
Yeah.
think this would be a great Spellseeker deck. I don't know if that's because I'm just like super high on Spellseeker right now, and I've been trying to make it work in Legacy for like 3 months now. But like, I think this would be a fun deck that if you had this sort of sideboard, I would love to see Spellseeker in this deck.
Yeah, that would be great for the. I mean, I think that you and I both have a love of toolbox.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Like we both love playing Green Sun Zenith. We both love playing toolbox effects and having that like disruptive effect and tutorable effect. I That's our playstyle, my friend, and I love it. It's so much fun to play.
All right. I'm gonna have to lean
Bat-
in real close here and get a.
Batla Haze, Batla. But thank you for
Hey,
joining and thank you for following. Appreciate you, anyways. If I can't pronounce your username.
hey, new follower. Tell us how to say your name in chat. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. And once again, everybody, we do this every Tuesday night. You know, this is our Tuesday night Legacy Fight night. We have a great time. We're just trying to promote playing Paper Legacy and having a great time here.
Oh, okay, Brazil. Okay, so
Oh,
probably
okay.
Portuguese, and that's why I don't get it. Okay, cool.
That explains it. Bat laha ba tala batala. Yeah, greetings from Brazil. Thanks for the follow. Oh, really appreciate it. And you know, we have a really big international community here, and we're really trying to expand that. And you know, thank you. Oh, we understand that Legacy is a worldwide game, and especially with Chalice of the Void, especially in South America, we get a lot of love from Argentina and Brazil and places like that.
Yeah, I mean it's there's we have a lot of players in the U.S. We have a lot of players that from elsewhere that around the world that make it into our
Batila.
events. We have
Okay.
people that are sometimes stay up until midnight, 1 o'clock to play with us, and or they have to get up at 7 in the morning to play with us on Saturdays. But we love having people here.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, it's one of those things that we just trying to make sure that people, like get to have fun and play their favorite format. A lot of people don't have a local scene, and we like to be that local scene for
Yeah.
people. And wow, we
We got
see
Battaglia. There we go in chat. Thank
Battalion.
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
pronunciation here.
this is exactly what you're talking about here. Early game, fast start confident, fast Mux Diamond, fast what's it called? Chalice of the Void. I think this is exactly what Master Capone wanted in this matchup.
Yeah. See the full art Liliana's Triumph. They're going to take care of the Bob. The only thing I'm more excited to see on turn one than Bob is Sylvan Library. And if you can get both, then you are living high on the hog for sure.
Oh, I agree. Sylvan Library is such a house of a card, and honestly, the incidental life gain that you get from Uro just makes Sylvan Library so much better.
Yeah. And things like Clothis helps with that as well. There's your turn three.
Ooh.
There's your turn three Leo.
Oh, good to see you, my old friend. It has been too long. Leovold on turn one, two, or three is like one of my favorite things, especially when your opponent's tapped out. Where's your force of will? Okay, now you're playing my game.
And you are especially the in name even biggest fan of Leovold here. Is that something you control, or does it count you as well? Will Liliana's Triumph get around that?
So Liliana's Triumph specifically says each opponent.
Oh, that's
So
true. Okay.
it doesn't target for Leovold's specific draw, but Leovold in itself is a massive replacement effect all in one card. If
Oh,
you
it's you
target
or a permanent. Okay.
Yeah, you or a permanent you control. Wasteland me, I draw a card. Port me, I draw a card. Or target me with a bolt, target it with a bolt, draw a card. It
Yep.
is
Got these
wonderful.
Inquisition and Kozilek as we see some of these cards. Hymn to Turek, all important there too.
Oh yeah.
But backup Chalice on one.
Backup Chalice on one. Whew.
How bad do you want to see that Maelstrom Pulse now?
Oh, I would love to see that. Honestly, one of my favorite things though in this exact matchup, not port, Pernicious Deed.
Yeah.
Pernicious Deed
Renee Rush
activate for
Pernicious
0.
Deed. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm glad as a Loam fan that card doesn't see a lot of play. All right, gonna start the beats with Leo here.
Yeah, 100%. I've ridden a Leovold to victory on more than one occasion. I can't tell you how many times I've put in a turn one or turn two or turn three Leovold onto the field against Sneak and Show, and I've just ridden that with a handful of disruptive spells and just 3 a turn.
Definitely. Yeah, Malfi
Oh,
pointing out the engineer explosives we were talking about in the sideboard. Hope might be useful here.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Looks like we lost Niskelman's feed. Sorry, everybody. Technical issues happen. Let's see if we can get that
uh,
back.
Malfi, I mean, if you don't want to catch it in the VOD, I'll spoil it for you. But Niskelman took game one off the back of some planeswalkers and keeping the board clean. We also have a game count right there in the middle if you like it, though. So,
Yeah.
Doc, while we wait for Niskelman to come back here, you excited for Saturday? We have our
Oh,
first season invitational. We've been tracking points for players for the last 3 months, August, September, October. It counts all of our Saturday events, all of our fight nights, all of our leagues. And we are going to be, this is our last event here. As we mentioned, it's last chance to get points. So we'll be publishing the top 8 for that later. And on Saturday, we're going to stream every round. It won't be every match, unfortunately, because that would, we'd be here all day. But uh, every round will have a feature match rather than just the finals. And we're just going to make you all a lot of content. We're excited about it.
yeah, honestly, I am super excited for it. I've blocked out the entire day to commentate. Like this is what we've been building up for. So when the season idea first came up, it was more of a okay, I'm just going to use this to track data and track information. As everybody has seen before, I track the meta, but when it started to evolve into keeping tracks, keeping a leaderboard, everything like that, and that was your baby, and we really appreciate that like this has been a crazy to see it all come together. But yeah, like the invitational is going to be huge. We have top 8 player double elimination tournament. It's going to be so much fun. Like everybody's bringing their A game, and I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, A game or Spice. I would appreciate either one.
Oh yeah.
If you want to bring something goofy, then
Oh
cool. You get
yeah.
to play it twice, I guess. But
Yeah, and definitely we're gonna have a really good time going on. And I honestly am so excited because we are debuting our newest in our token series. Hey, so we have a new token coming out on the
spoiler,
Invitational. We're gonna
Doc.
I think we've already we've
Yeah,
been telling people, but yeah,
I
like
think we
it's
have.
gonna be debuted. We're gonna debut it live on stream. We're super excited for it. Our artist finished it all up last week. It is a beautiful combination of two magic cards, and I'm super excited for it. I like honestly, this is gonna look so good in foil, and I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Yeah, Malfi, I got those in abundance.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I appreciate all y'all's help as well because we're going to definitely be all hands on deck that day to keep everything flowing.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. It's gonna be a wild game. It's gonna be a wild day, and honestly, hey, the mod team works really hard to try and make sure that everybody is, everybody has a fun time, and but at the same time, our mod team, this is all like the volunteer work that we all put in because we love this format. We love this community that we fostered. A lot of us, including myself, have been here since the very beginning. So it's great to see it have grown, and now we have over 1,500 members. We have regular events, and it's really cool to see that it's now culminating in this big event. And now we have these seasonal invitational. We're gonna have another big invitational every single quarter, and we're so excited for it.
yeah, we've gotten to do one event before with Phil, Force of Phil, where we got to stream every round, and that was a blast. Shout out to Mr. Jackdex, one of our other mods, who's going to be streaming for us that day because that's going to be a hell of a job. A lot of us
Oh
can
yeah,
rotate in and out, but Mr. Jackdex will be there all day with us.
yeah, and honestly, like, hey, big shout out to him because it's gonna be a little bit of a rough day, but at least hey, we're still gonna be having a good time. Looks like we did get the feedback. I think they're just
Yeah, it
still
says,
trying to get their audio issues.
yep. Not a big deal here. I mean, Niskelman is going to have to find some removal for that Leovold at some point. Obviously, life totals are high, though. Um,
Yeah,
the chalices are locking out the cantrips, but I don't know. This is kind of a tough match in general for Loam, I think, because it doesn't do very well against blue decks that are grindier than it. Just
yeah. And importantly, a lot of this deck is self-replacing. So like
yeah,
Snapcaster Mage replaces itself, Baleful Strix replaces itself,
yeah,
Mentor kind of replaces itself, but to be fair, once Mentor hits the field, it's all about kill the Mentor. You have to kill the Mentor. Otherwise, I mean, I've had games where I play Mentor one turn and next turn I'm swinging for lethal. Like
yeah,
you just need that one Mentor and just a couple cantrips and you're going.
yeah. Uh, Mascarpone has the doesn't have the same kind of deck manipulation that Niskelman has access to as well. So I mean, there are only so many creatures in a deck. I think they probably have 11 or so in there. And if you can just
Yeah.
if you have swords and Drown of the Lock, and he has access to Kaya and the
Yeah.
Teferi, I would love to see the Teferi happen. I feel like I don't ever see
Yeah.
that card played outside of like Cube because I'm not a big modern player.
Yeah, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I remember when this card came out and it just ruined standard. It
Yeah,
was it was just so powerful, and people were just thinking like, okay, this is as powerful Teferi can get, and then they reduced him down to 3 CMC and made it even more busted.
yeah. It's funny that the last few times they tried to print Teferi, they haven't gotten it quite right. I guess the M21 one hasn't been banned yet, right?
Yeah, no, M21 hasn't been banned yet.
They
What's
learned
it
their lesson
called?
on that.
Yeah, that well, to be fair, that was such a unique design space, and that's
Mhm.
a type of power level that I would love to that I love to see for Magic in general, but also for Legacy. It's a very powerful card that could have a very niche spot, but then it's also competing with spots like Jace the Mind Sculptor, and it did find a home in World Gore Dragon though, and so I can't fault it for that. But just powerful enough to change and improve one legacy deck versus warping an entire format like Uro, Oko, and Vale.
Yeah, and Arcanum's Astrolabe and Ren and 6 until it got banned, and Plague Engineer, and Little Teferi, and not really Narset anymore, and
Yeah.
we've gotten a lot of new tools lately.
Yeah. I mean, but we still haven't got the answers that we need, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
And it looks like okay, so it looks like Nizgelman took a draw and passed. So everything's back up. He didn't work.
Yeah. And
Okay, yep.
it looks like Niskelman here was maybe relying on Ponder or Brainstorm or something to find answers, and these chalices are doing a good job because Oko coming down now. Have to imagine that resolves that Niskelman, has lost his inevitability here, but
Yeah, and this is a serious clock. This is now a clock that's attacking for 9 on the next turn. I'm assuming he's going to end up plussing and producing a food token because you don't want
yeah,
to get rid of any of the chalices so it gets eaten up by.
surrounding
Oh,
block
yep,
will counter it. Okay.
yep, and that actually works because there's 3 cards in the graveyard.
No crop rotation in Mascarpone 75, I don't believe, but that'd been a really cute chance to crop rotation and Bojuka Bug yourself to fizzle the Drown of the Lock.
That's a thing.
I mean, the spell wouldn't be a valid target anymore.
Yeah,
Could go to the CMC. I mean,
please tell
I've
me
never
you've
done it
done that.
before. No, I've never done it before. I have crop rotations to wasteland my own lands before, but
What?
neither the Reliquary. You got to get in there for lethal.
Yeah, I have won a game off of a turn 1 crop rotation from the sideboard for the Caracas that was in my sideboard that I brought in, but that's just because of the fact that sometimes you just get reanimate hater when they try to go for the Grizzlebrand. Oh,
So,
looks like we
this,
had a little bit of a deck spill, but I
yeah,
think
don't
yeah,
worry about
everything's okay.
it. Niskelman here got a Baleful Strix, which is going to stop the Leovold beats. Um, but we have to imagine that Mascarpone has Abrupt Decay or some way to get rid of that.
Yeah,
Because there
something.
haven't been any targets for an Abrupt Decay to be fired off quite yet.
Yeah.
But
And to be fair, like you've had enough time to sculpt your hand and everything like that you got a maze.
yeah, I guess you
Yeah.
can make the chump attack and see if Niskomen blocks, and then save save it. I don't know.
That is
Yeah,
definitely something that you can do. I
yeah.
have so interesting thing about Mazavith though. Mazavith, oh yep, we see the abrupt decay.
All right, nice. Get in there.
Yeah. You
Get
gotta
that life
force
level
the
low.
action. But interesting thing about that's exactly what I was about to bring up.
The
That's
old
exactly
vigilance.
what I was
Yeah,
about to bring up is the end of combat post damage step that still exists that you can still bring back your Leovold with. I like that. That was a smooth heads up play.
yeah. That's a common trick for Night of the Reliquary in this deck as well. Um, so you can hold up
Oh
an
yeah.
activation. You can swing and also get up an activation.
Ooh, I never knew that. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very gross when it's what you need to be doing. Sometimes it's like a fun party trick, but sometimes it's what you really need.
Yeah, and it looks like Mascarpone is definitely top deck in here, and yeah, there's no
Yeah,
more answers to that second Baleful Strix, so it's gonna stick and it's gonna stem the flow of damage for right now.
yeah, which is unfortunate. I mean, it's a 2 mana, just 2 for 1 there. Not 2 for 2. I mean, you get to if it blocks, all you did was spend 2 mana, replace itself, and you took out like whatever you were scared enough to block.
Yeah, but that being said, that is all factored in so long as Mascarpone doesn't draw a Plague Engineer.
That's true. Blank Engineer. Oh man, catching it in for a 1 for 1 always feels bad, but if you need to be getting in for damage, then I think it's totally worth it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've done that before though. I love abusing and resetting Plague Engineer. If Argon Platypus is still in the chat, he'll remember my double Plague Engineer on Zombie to remove his Field of the Dead board. That was a fun match, my friend. But
Ooh.
importantly here, Niskelman does land his threat and Fate Sealing himself importantly.
Yeah, I mean, facing Mascarpone with a Leovold out has got to feel pretty bad, right?
Yep. Yep. Because that does trigger the Leovold draw, and it
Malfi
also
pointing
feels.
out it turns off, and Leovold on the other hand turns off Brainstorm also. So
Yep.
that's a good point.
This is why I love the card. It's just so good at every stage. Love it. I remember when Leovold first came out, and I instantly looked at it like, I want to build a commander deck around this, and this is the card that will make me play Legacy.
You and everyone else that got it banned, right?
Yeah, yeah. Teferi's puzzle box. It's a mean card. Alright,
Yeah.
I still to this day, so I have a bug. Surprise, surprise. I have a bug commander deck that's Damia Sage of Stone, and it's quote unquote build your own Leovold. It's Teferi's puzzle box, and then like things like Narset and Notion Thief.
Gross.
It's
Yeah,
so
that's.
disgusting.
I feel like Damia was basically all there was for bug commanders for a while. They've printed a couple more good ones in the last couple years, but
Yeah, that is very true. Yarok was amazing. Muldrotha was amazing, but there's something about being able to draw 7 cards on your upkeep that is so much fun.
yeah. I may.
And
Oh, we're gonna go. Okay, just fetches the Dryad Arbor there.
yeah.
Um, get out of the deck, I guess. Don't want to draw it.
Well, importantly, when it comes to that sort of thing, you can also turn your Dryad Arbor into an Elk if you top deck an Oko. And I've done that
Mm,
before where end step fetch for Dryad Arbor, turn it into an Oak, and then just swing in for lethal.
yeah. Um, I'd also be willing to eat a Mox Diamond at this point, but okay. So there's an Abrupt Decay. Do you think we go for Jace here, or just go face? And Niskelman's at 9.
I go for face. Oh.
You say you say face. He says Jace. So
Well, I say that only because of the fact that all Jace can do without drawing you extra cards is Fate Seal himself. He can't brainstorm. If he bounces the Leovold, it automatically replaces itself. Oh, but like I think you need enough pressure on the life total that I think going for the face might have been good there. But to be
uh,
fair, you're also giving Niskelman free scries every turn.
yeah, I think I could see attacking to kill it off. There'll be one short actually of killing it if he pluses here. I feel like just taking off the pressure for ultimate and then going face might also be reasonable.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that
But
means Niskelman can't like blow up the Leovold and then just go nuts with Jace or Council Judgment the Leovold. Okay,
oh, yep, and importantly, this does not cause a draw.
it
So
does
because
not because it's weird templating
yeah, it's a voting choice,
and
and
that should be
importantly,
exiled there.
it
Hopefully,
does get exiled. Yep.
we'll make sure our
Uh,
table spotter
yeah,
makes
I
sure it's
think our
exiled. There
table
we go.
spotters got it. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
And oh wow, Council's judgment. Yep. So going for the Jace was the correct play there. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't get some breathing room on the Jace, then it's just gonna tick up once or twice more and then kill you.
Yep, it's
Uh,
true.
but I think trying to end the game is probably also defensible there. Um, this is one of those few times. I know a lot of lone players are on blue now for stuff like Uro and Oko and Leovold is a tool that it gets a lot of other blue soup decks don't get. So they're off Punishing Fire, but this is a time when Punishing Fire wouldn't be the worst to have access to.
I agree with that. That's very true. Also included with that red splash are things like Clothis, which is amazing in this
Mm,
matchup, as well as Red Elemental Blast and Pyroblast. I think both of those important key pieces you really do miss when it comes to going for the blue splash over the red splash.
yeah,
Ooh, but that
yeah.
Bajuka Bog.
Yep. No, there are no Snapcasters in the other side, right? Oh, there are 3
Oh,
Snapcasters.
there's
We just haven't
three
seen them.
Snapcasters. Yeah,
All
we
right.
just haven't seen them so far. And there was a lot of goodies in that graveyard. Just go away.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the chalices locked out, but I mean, flashback Council Judgment. Why not? That's just
Oh
value jump.
yeah. Oh yeah. 100% would totally go for that.
Malfi, not anymore. There aren't
Not
accurate.
anymore. Yeah, it's true, my friend. And yeah, like honestly, those three, that one Bajuka Bog just completely invalidates 3 Snapcaster Mage. So
Yeah. Because there are going to be a lot of things. I mean, there's also the Drowned Lock. I don't know him to Torque. No discard has been cast this game. I think right. I think
no,
just the
no
Drowned
him.
Lock and Liliod's Triumph. We saw Liliod's Triumph against Bob. I think
Well, and
earlier this
also
game.
to be fair, would you really keep in him to Turok against a Life from the Loam deck, which you have the chance of throwing their Life from the Loam into the graveyard?
Uh, No. If I were a mono black deck, I'd be tempted, but I think casting it on turn 2 to disrupt them is very good. Casting it on turn 3, 4, 5 when your mana's good enough to cast it in this deck isn't good at all.
Yeah, I agree. I
Um,
I probably would have cut at least two of the hymns because I mean, there's that one-off chance that you just nuke the important cards in their hands, like a Sylvan Library or something like that, things that they can't
yeah.
get back.
Or Knight of Reliquary, if you can get them on turn 2 before they can cast it, also feels great.
Mhm.
Um, like we saw last game, Greenstone Zenith. Uh,
Exactly. Hitting that Green Sun Zenith stopped that early Leovold and honestly probably won Nizcom the game.
yeah, that was death by 1,000 cuts there for sure.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. I think importantly, Massacre opponent keeps on looking at their graveyard. I wonder if they're looking to see like how fast they could bring back an Uro to prevent it from being exiled.
Yeah, mana is a little tight right now.
Hmm.
That's another problem I had when I was playing Uro. Was it's actually not that easy to escape it with the low mana base, especially if you don't have access to Mox Diamond for some reason because it's because of Collector Oof or something.
Hmm.
It's pretty hard to cast. I think I was only running one of each of the blue lands, and they're doing the same. So you basically have to have either you have 6 blue sources in the whole deck to enable it.
Yeah, and I mean, you're even talking about like you have so many utility lands in the form of Cabal Pit, Caracas, Maze of Ith,
Mhm.
Bajuka Bog, and it does kind of cause issues. Even like things like Blast Zone and Barrenmore. Like if the mana in this deck can be good, but you really do need that Mox Diamond to really lubricate everything.
Mhm. That's why I mean the right draws at a loam can just win without the graveyard anyway. But I think that messing up the mana with an early Blood Moon or an early if you can wasteland at the right time, but Blood Moon, back to basics, that sort of thing, just really hurts. Or Collector Oof, Null Rod effects
Yeah,
are painful.
I will
Um,
agree. Hey, I definitely need. It's one of those things that you definitely need to have the right answers for Loam at the right time. But that's what's so unique about it. I mean, if you look at things even like Strifo
yeah, just one of the. I feel like Strifo is the only one that makes Strifo Pile work, but
You're
uh,
not alone with that one, my friend. I look at the 80 card Strifo piles and I'm just okay, so you want DAC, but you also want Punishing Fire, but your mana base is all weird, and you're also running a bunch of Snowlands for Ice Fang, and you're also running Uro, and then now Shark Typhoon.
yeah.
Like it is literally a pile.
Looks like the Master Opponent trading off the Dreader for the Baleful Strix there, but we did also see that Jace is just going to town.
Yeah, I don't
But
know if
Niz also discarded due to hand size there, so the hand must be stacked with one drops. He pitched a Rainstorm just for
it
hand size.
it has to be just absolutely stacked. Well, I mean,
Ooh,
oh,
yeah, it could be Daddy to Fairy too.
oh, Big Daddy Teferi is here, and this this is interesting because now you have two planeswalkers, one of them which aggressively ticks up to its ultimate. Let's important here with Fairy Hero Dominaria. So it's a 3 white blue planeswalker. +1 draw a card at the beginning of your next end step, untap 2 lands. Very powerful. Basically replaces itself and only costs 3 mana. And the -3, put target sorry, it just can't went away for a second. Put target non-land permanent into its owner's library third from the top. So you can tuck something away, make fetch lands harder to use, as well as the fact that that -8, which does tick up to in 4 more
Yep,
turns,
2 returns.
is game ending. Whenever you get an emblem, whenever you draw a card, you exile target permanent and opponent controls. This card ends game.
Yeah,
And
I mean, having both of these out, can you imagine this board state? Oh, that's right. The where did the Leovold go? We were talking about something else, and Leovold is gone.
Leovold died to the council's judgment.
Oh, Couch
Remember, he
Judgment.
got
That's right.
exiled to
Yeah,
the council's
and
judgment.
we it didn't target, etc. So Jace plus Big Teferi is just the grossest thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're gonna see so many cards every single turn, and both of these planeswalkers can protect themselves with bounce effects. So even if you do land a threat, if it's not hasty, then it's just gonna get bounced by either or of the planeswalkers.
Yeah, and we see Mascarpone landing Blaststone here, which is a great draw. Can basically just charge up and take out Jace here on his next turn. I can't quite read that D20 on the Jace. Can you read that D20? It's still in single digits.
Yeah, it's still on 2, so I think it's mostly been brainstorming.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's still on 2. I
Thank
think
you.
it's mostly been
Thanks a lot.
brainstorming every single turn. But importantly here, now we're seeing both council judgment. So on that, what's it called? Chalice is exiled.
Yeah, and the Prez pointing out killing Zephyr. Yeah, for some reason I assumed that Jace was still on its inevitable march up towards 11, and Mascarpone has the mana to charge it up to 4 this turn. I think it'll take an extra turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Mascarpone has 7 mana producing lands, and we need 8 mana producing lands to charge up Blaststone all the way for Teferi.
Yeah, because it's XX in order to charge it up.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, that's just one turn off, so we'll see what
yeah,
happens.
exactly.
That's definitely the more patient thing.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna do it one at a time here. Okay, I got
yeah.
it. I think an acceptable shortcut would be adding 6 to your pool and taking it up, but this is technically a better play.
And important here, which one do you want to blow up though?
Now that I know that Jace is only at 2, but Teferi's also at 2. They both draw an extra card every turn, basically, but Teferi is just more flexible. I think I would want to kill Teferi if I had the choice. Getting to kill Jace here a turn earlier is I think you just catch it in.
Yeah, and importantly though, I don't think there's any more life from the Loams left in the deck. Or was that last game when all of them were exiled?
That was the last game. Life,
Okay.
full color loam will do that to you though, especially
Oh,
against a control deck.
oh yeah. Already starting to lose it a little bit. I'm starting to feel my sanity disappear.
Yeah, that's not even that big of a graveyard. It's fine.
How many
Um,
times have you accidentally almost killed yourself from decking playing 4-color Loam?
uh, you stop loaming at some point. Yeah, I mean, I've literally done it a couple times, but you know, I've won or lost with a few cards in my deck before as well.
Oh yeah. And
Um,
we got a
yes.
Snapcaster.
So Snapcaster, most of the yard was exiled. I don't remember what else in there at this point.
Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. Okay.
Yeah. This was the one
Do you
that was
think?
that was discarded earlier.
Do you think that was the long con there?
I don't think it was so much the long con, more just you had an active Jace on the field that was brainstorming for you every single turn. Why would you need the extra card that gets countered by Chalice?
Now that you've now that you've answered the chalice, you just get to get everything you wanted. But we're gonna see the Mazavith here. Gonna check him, make sure he remembers. He does.
Yeah, and
I wonder.
important here, Niskelman is slamming is drawing 2 cards a turn at the minimal, including the Castle Lockthwain, though that's a painful way to draw when you're at 5 life. But has access to a full yard and now a Monastery Mentor, which is quite literally. No, it's not lethal next turn if he was able to throw out a flurry of spells, but it can definitely produce some creatures, and
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
definitely clock.
if he has stuff like Ponder, Inquisition, Kozilek here, he could make a couple tokens this turn and then pump them next turn with some more spells too. But I mean, short of drawing Taku Deluge like this turn ish, like I don't know what Mascarpone is going to do.
Oh, this is a Green
Greenstone
Suns
Zenith.
for 3. So Green Suns for 3 can find Uro, which is a house,
Yeah.
Knight of the Reliquary, which is massive.
Yeah. Could also get the Knight of Autumn from the sideboard, but it doesn't really do anything if that was brought in. There might be one more Leavold in the deck too. Although is Mascarpone just picking it up?
Oh
Oh, yep.
yeah, so
All right.
Niskelman countered the Green Sun Zenith with Drown the Lock, and yep, that's GG's. Mascarpone is scooping it up, and we got Niskelman coming in 2-0, stealing those last minute points.
Yep. So coming up next round, we've got one more round for y'all tonight. It is going to be Malfi versus, I'm going to say Pont.
Pwned.
It's 1337. I think that's where we'll go for that, right?
Yeah, and this is gonna be a fun matchup. So stick around, everybody. We'll be in just a little bit once we get all set up.